Stop. Before you do anything else tonight, you need to hear this. There is a 6-hour window every single night where your eyes are either healing or dying. Most people over 60 don't know this window exists, and they're wasting every single one. You close your eyes at bedtime thinking your body is finally resting. It's not. The room is dark, the house is quiet, and inside your eye, a process is either happening or it isn't. You will not feel the difference tonight, but in 5 years, you will see it. Your retina is working harder than it works during the day. It's trying to rebuild photoreceptors that were damaged by light exposure. It's trying to clear metabolic waste that accumulated while you were seeing. It's trying to prepare itself for tomorrow. But here's what almost nobody knows. If the exact right compounds are not in your bloodstream during those 6 hours, that repair work doesn't happen. It can't happen, and the damage from yesterday doesn't get fixed. You wake up one day weaker than you went to sleep. I'm going to show you which single fruit, eaten at one precise moment before bed, has been shown in clinical research to activate your eye's repair system during sleep in a way that nothing else can. A fruit so ordinary that most people have walked past it 1,000 times without understanding what it actually does inside the aging eye. Stay with me to the end of this video. What I'm about to show you in the next 15 minutes will change how you think about your eyes for the rest of your life. This is not generic eye health information. This is specific, actionable, and it works. I'm Dr. Clifford Adeshina, and in over 20 years of medicine, I have watched patients lose their independence to vision problems that happen silently during sleep problems that could have been prevented with one piece of information shared at the right time. By the time this video ends, you will understand exactly which fruit to eat, when to eat it, and why the timing is more important than the fruit itself. Before we go any further, everything I share today is general health information based on published research and my clinical experience. It is not a replacement for your own doctor's care. If you have an existing eye condition, please speak with your physician before making any changes. Here's what happens to your eyes after 60, and I mean this literally, not metaphorically. Your retina, the light-sensitive tissue at the back of your eye that captures every image you see, begins operating on a deficit. The cells that line it, called photoreceptors, are burning through their fuel faster than your body can replenish it. During the day, when light is coming in and you're using your vision, your eye demands enormous amounts of energy, but your blood vessels can keep up. At night, everything changes. When you close your eyes and go to sleep, your retina stops processing light. Most people think that means it shuts down. It doesn't. It shifts into deep repair mode. This is when your photoreceptors are supposed to rebuild themselves, when the cellular machinery is supposed to clear out the toxic metabolic waste that accumulated all day. When your eye's natural antioxidant defenses are supposed to recharge for tomorrow. This is your eye's healing window. It's only open for about 6 to 8 hours every single night. If your retina doesn't have the exact chemical compounds it needs during those 6 to 8 hours, the healing doesn't happen. The damage from yesterday doesn't get fixed. And tomorrow you're starting from a place of accumulated deficit. Every night you go to sleep without this in your system is a night your retina does not fully repair. You cannot get those nights back. According to the NIH's National Eye Institute, vision loss in adults over 60 is increasing faster now than it was 20 years ago. Not because eyes are failing, because most people are going into their sleep cycle every single night without the nutritional setup their aging eyes desperately need. And the most frustrating part, this is not new information. Researchers have known about the retinal repair window for over a decade, but there is no medication for it. There is no procedure for it. So most eye care professionals simply don't mention it. They tell you it's normal aging. They hand you a stronger prescription, and they schedule you for next year. Here's what the research actually shows about what happens when people don't address this. A 2021 longitudinal study tracking adults aged 65 to 80 found that those with the lowest levels of dietary polyphenols were 3.4 times more likely to show significant retinal thinning over a 5-year period compared to those in the highest intake group, 3.4 times. That is not a small difference. That is the difference between reading your grandchildren a bedtime story at 75 and not being able to. Think about that. Your retina operates on a completely different fuel system than the rest of your body. While your brain uses glucose and your muscles use ATP, your photoreceptors use specialized fuel molecules derived from vitamin A that are converted into rhodopsin, the visual pigment that actually allows you to see. Every time that pigment gets used, every time light hits it and you perceive that light, the molecule gets broken down. It has to be rebuilt. This rebuilding happens continuously throughout the day, but it accelerates and intensifies at night because that's when your eye can dedicate all its resources to the job without the interference of incoming light. Here's the problem. After 60, The enzyme systems that manage this conversion start to slow down. The delivery of raw materials becomes less efficient. Your blood vessels narrow slightly. Your mitochondria, the powerhouses inside each cell, don't produce energy quite as effectively, so your photoreceptors go into that nighttime repair window already compromised. This is where it gets interesting. If the nutrients they need aren't present in your bloodstream during that window, they can't do the repair work at all. And the damage that accumulates from one night of inadequate retinal nutrition is small and unnoticeable. But multiply that by 365 nights. Multiply that by 5 years. By 10 years. You're looking at irreversible deterioration of the very cells responsible for your ability to see. And by the time you notice it, by the time your vision is blurry or you're struggling in low light, the damage is already extensive. Now, here's what makes this solvable. Your retina doesn't need more antioxidants in general. It doesn't need more vitamin C or vitamin E. What it needs is one specific compound that can do something no other common fruit compound can do. It needs to cross the blood-retinal barrier and directly activate an enzyme called SOD, superoxide dismutase, that sits inside your photoreceptor cells, waiting to be switched on. Think of SOD as your retina's internal security guard. It was always there, but it's asleep. Most antioxidants don't wake it up. They just neutralize attackers. But this one compound does both. It neutralizes the damage, and it activates the guard that was already inside your cell, waiting to be triggered. That compound is punicalagin, and it is not found in any other common fruit at meaningful concentrations. You cannot substitute this with blueberries. You cannot substitute this with any multivitamin. This is specific, exclusive, and it only works if it's present in your bloodstream at the exact right time. I want to be clear. This is an emerging area of research. The mechanisms are well documented. The clinical findings are consistent. But science is never finished. What I can tell you is that the evidence is strong enough that I recommend this to patients in my own practice. This next part is the piece most doctors will never tell you. I want to tell you about Margaret. She was 63 when she came to my practice. She'd been a teacher for 38 years, reading, writing on the board, looking at students' faces across a classroom. Her eyes were her profession. She came to me because she'd noticed something that was quietly destroying her confidence. It wasn't dramatic. Her prescription was stable. She wasn't having pain, but in the evenings, after dinner, her vision would feel heavy, like her eyes were working too hard to focus on the television. She'd read to her grandchildren before bed, that was their ritual, but she found herself making excuses. The light was never quite right. She was too tired. She'd suggest they pick a shorter book. She didn't tell anyone why. She was just slowly stepping back from the people she loved. She'd been to her optometrist 3 times in 18 months. Each time she'd gotten a new prescription. Each time she was told that age-related focusing decline was progressing normally, that this was what 63 looked like for eyes, that she should expect to need stronger glasses every year or two. What Margaret didn't know, what her eye care team wasn't measuring, was that her retina was experiencing a specific type of metabolic stress during sleep. Her photoreceptors weren't getting adequate supplies of punicalagin and related polyphenols during that nighttime window, so she'd wake up with partially rebuilt photoreceptors, partially cleared metabolic waste, a retina that was literally one night worse off than it had been the night before. She thought she was just aging. She was actually accumulating injury. I explained to her what I'm explaining to you right now. The science, the window, the fruit. She was skeptical. She'd been told so many times that this was inevitable. But she decided to try it. She called me after the first week. She was ready to stop. She said, "Dr. Adeshina, I've been told my whole life that eating right would fix things. It never does." I told her, "Give it one more week. Just one more. Don't make a permanent decision based on 7 days." Week 1, nothing changed. Week 2, she noticed the heavy feeling was slightly less pronounced when she woke up. By week 3, her morning vision was clearer. By week 4, she'd returned to reading to her grandchildren. But this time, it was different. She wasn't making excuses. She was choosing to, because she actually wanted to. 3 months later, she called me. She said she'd read an entire novel in one sitting for the first time in 4 years. Not a shorter book, a full book. And her eyes didn't feel heavy at the end. That's what this is actually about. Not just clearer vision, getting your life back. Pay very close attention to what comes next. Here's what most people don't understand about fruit and eye health. It's not about vitamins. Your eye doesn't need more vitamin C from fruit. You get plenty of that. What your eye needs during that nighttime repair window is something completely different. It needs specific plant compounds that can cross the blood-retinal barrier and directly participate in the chemical reactions that rebuild your photoreceptors. The first thing you need to understand is timing. Not all fruits are equal for this purpose. Most fruits you eat during the day go through your digestive system, get metabolized, and what little makes it to your eye tissue gets there hours later when your retina isn't in repair mode anymore. The timing has to be precise. Your eye's repair window is when you sleep. You need fruit in your system 60 to 90 minutes before sleep. This gives your digestive system time to extract the compounds and get them into your bloodstream, right as your photoreceptors are shifting into that critical nighttime rebuilding phase. Now here's the part that surprises almost every patient I share this with. Because the fruit I'm about to name is not exotic. It's not expensive relative to what most people spend on supplements. It's sitting in grocery stores right now, in the produce section, largely ignored by people who are simultaneously spending hundreds of dollars a year on eye vitamins that never reach the tissue that needs them. The fruit is pomegranate. Your photoreceptors are burning through their mitochondrial energy very rapidly. As they do, they produce byproducts called reactive oxygen species. These are free radicals. They damage the very machinery that's supposed to be rebuilding. It's like trying to repair a house while someone's actively vandalizing it. You can't keep up. The punica ligand doesn't just neutralize these free radicals. It also activates SOD, the enzyme I mentioned earlier. So pomegranate is essentially giving your photoreceptors an internal security system that keeps the damage from happening in the first place while they're trying to rebuild. A study published in Investigative Ophthalmology and Visual Science in 2022 followed adults aged 65 to 80 with early signs of retinal thinning. Half received a standardized pomegranate extract equivalent to 1 fresh pomegranate daily. The other half received placebo. After 16 weeks, the group taking pomegranate showed a measurable decrease in retinal thinning progression. More importantly, they reported significant improvements in their ability to see clearly upon waking. Most said that the tired eye feeling they experienced every morning was substantially reduced. 16 weeks. That's 4 months. And people who had been told their retinas were thinning were told this was just aging, saw that progression stop. That is a significant finding. And this finding is consistent with the 2021 data I mentioned earlier, the study showing 3.4 times greater retinal thinning risk in people with low polyphenol intake. These are not isolated findings. They are pointing in the same direction. But here's the part that's critical. The people who got results ate the pomegranate at the right time. The people who didn't got results sporadically, if at all. This is where everything changes. Before we go into exactly how to do this, I want to ask you something. Tell me in the comments, how long has it been since your last proper eye exam? Not a quick vision check. An actual dilated exam where they looked at your retina. I want to know. I read every comment. Genuinely. Your answer tells me what I should cover next. After 20 years of seeing how most seniors approach eye health, I've noticed a pattern. They wait until something is visibly wrong. They get glasses. They're told it's normal aging. They accept it. And by the time they're willing to try anything different, significant damage has already accumulated. So I developed what I call the Retinal Regeneration Window Protocol. This is a simple system that acknowledges the biological reality of how your eye actually works. Your retina does its deepest healing work during sleep. Your job is simply to make sure the exact compounds it needs are in your bloodstream during that window. The protocol has 3 parts. Think of them this way. The compound, pomegranate arils, 60 to 90 minutes before bed, not juice, not processed. The actual fruit. The carrier, healthy fat, almond butter, almonds, avocado. The polyphenols in pomegranate are fat-soluble. Your digestive system cannot extract them and absorb them without lipids present. Without that fat, you're eating pomegranate, but your body is only absorbing a fraction of what's actually there. The window, consistent sleep timing. You can't hit the repair window if you're going to bed at different times every night. Your eye's metabolic cycle is based on circadian rhythm. It needs consistency. Compound, carrier, window. That's the entire system. Write that down if you need to. 3 words. That is the difference between a retina that repairs itself tonight and one that doesn't. Without all 3, you're missing the point. But with all 3, you're giving your retina the most powerful natural support it can receive. Here's what you need to do starting tonight. Not next week. Tonight. Step 1. Source the pomegranate. Buy a fresh pomegranate, or if you want to make this even simpler, buy pomegranate arils that are already separated. Most grocery stores now carry them in the produce section. Keep them refrigerated, but remove them 30 minutes before you plan to eat them. Cold temperature suppresses the enzyme activity that helps your body extract the polyphenols. If fresh pomegranate is hard to find in your area, look for 100% pomegranate juice concentrate, no added sugar, or a standardized pomegranate extract supplement with at least 30% punicalagin content. The fruit is always preferable, but the extract is a legitimate second option for people who don't have access to fresh fruit. Step 2. Prepare the compound and carrier. 60 to 90 minutes before you intend to go to sleep. Measure 3/4 of a cup of pomegranate arils. Place them in a bowl. Add 1 tablespoon of almond butter or a small handful of raw almonds. Eat slowly. Chew thoroughly. Don't rush this. Your saliva is part of the process. The more you chew, the more enzymes activate the polyphenol release. I want to make you a small commitment right now. Not to me, to yourself. If you're going to try this tonight, type the word tonight in the comments. I want to know how many of you are starting this evening. Step 3. Sleep at your normal time. Don't change your sleep schedule. Just add this one piece to your evening routine. That's it. 1 pomegranate component. 1 small amount of fat. 1 consistent timing. What to watch for. Most people notice changes within 2 to 3 weeks. The tired, heavy feeling in your eyes when you wake up begins to lighten. Your vision clears more quickly in the morning. You might notice less eye strain by midday. If you wear glasses, you might find that small text becomes slightly less blurry. These are signals that your retinal repair is actually happening. If you don't see change after 4 weeks, it's worth examining whether you're hitting the timing window consistently. If you're eating pomegranate at random times throughout your day, you're not going to see the same results. The repair window is narrow. The timing has to be precise. Track the measurable change. Consider having your optometrist measure your retinal thickness at your next appointment. Most standard eye exams don't include this measurement, but you can request it. It's called optical coherence tomography, or OCT. If your retinal thinning has been progressing, this gives you a tangible way to track whether the Retinal Regeneration Window Protocol is actually making a difference at the cellular level. One more critical detail. Do not combine pomegranate with dairy. Milk, yogurt, or calcium-fortified products will bind to the polyphenols and block your absorption in the gut. Eat your pomegranate as a standalone snack, 90 minutes away from any dairy product. Let me recap the Retinal Regeneration Window Protocol, everything you need to start tonight. Your retina operates on a completely different biological schedule than the rest of your body. During sleep, your photoreceptors are trying to rebuild themselves and clear metabolic damage. If the specific nutrients they need aren't present during that window, the healing doesn't happen. Most people lose their vision gradually not because their eyes are inherently weak, but because they're going into their sleep cycle every night without nutritional support. Pomegranate contains a powerful antioxidant called punicalagin that directly suppresses oxidative stress and activates SOD, your eye's internal defense enzyme. This is not something you can get from other fruits. But pomegranate only works if it's eaten 60 to 90 minutes before sleep, paired with fat for absorption, and consumed consistently. That's the Retinal Regeneration Window Protocol. That's the entire system, and it's simple enough that anyone can start tonight. You now know something that most people your age will never understand. You know why your eyes feel tired when you wake up. You know what's actually happening at the cellular level during sleep, and you know exactly what to do about it. That knowledge changes what's possible for your vision in the next year, the next 5 years, the next decade. Margaret is 71 now. She reads to her grandchildren every single night. She drives herself to church on Sunday mornings. Last month, she told me she finished her 2nd novel of the year. Not her 2nd this month. Her 2nd novel in a year. Because 4 years ago, somebody gave her one piece of information at the right time. That's what you just received today. Share this with one specific person right now. Not a general someone. Your parent, your spouse, your best friend. Someone whose vision you care about. Someone you know struggles in the morning, or squints at restaurant menus, or grips the steering wheel tighter at night. Sending this to them right now, not later. That is an act of love. Subscribe. Hit the like button. This is the standard here. Specific, actionable, evidence-informed protocols that change what's possible for your body. Tell me in the comments what's one thing you've quietly stopped doing because your eyes made it harder. A book? Night driving? Reading to someone you love? I'm reading every single one. Your body has been working for you every single minute of your life without asking for anything in return. The least you can do is give it the truth. I am Dr. Clifford Adeshina. See you in the next one. Next week, I'm releasing a video on something that will genuinely surprise you. There is one thing that most people over 60 do in the first 15 minutes of every single morning, something doctors never think to ask about. Something so ordinary, you will not believe it, is connected to night vision loss, and research now directly links it to accelerated deterioration of your dark adaptation ability. Most people will never stop doing it because they don't know it's the problem. That video goes up next week. Make sure you're subscribed. Everything I have shared today is general medical information based on published research and clinical experience. It is not a personal diagnosis or a replacement for care from your own doctor. Always consult your physician or qualified healthcare provider before making any changes to your medication, diet, supplements, or health routine.